Hey everyone, it's Ali and welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about the House of Zoologists and some of their scents that I have in my collection. The House of Zoologists is run by Victor Wong. He's amazing and has created a line of fragrances that all revolve around an animal or its environment or things associated with that animal. And I think the concept is super cool. There's nothing really out there quite like the House of Zoologists that does what they do, and I really do appreciate their fragrances. They are very artistic. Some of them are unwearable for me personally, and we'll get into those, but a lot of them I really do love and enjoy, and I just enjoy the artisticness that they take in creating these fragrances. I think it's really cool what they do. And we are going to start with 3 that I have that are samples. I have the natural selection pack and then 2 full bottles. So we're going to start off with the samples that I have first. The first one that I have is called Chameleon. And it's in the bottle that they have, it has this same holographic effect where it sort of shifts in all these rainbow colors. And Chameleon is the only one that has this sort of effect. I'll read the notes off to you guys because they have the notes in here. It's got bergamot, lemon ylang, mango, pink peppers, star fruit, violet leaves, cashmerean, clove, coconut, frangipani, jasmine, saffron, a salty skin accord, amber, woods, musk, opopanax, patchouli, sandalwood, vanilla, and vetiver. And that's what you're going to get from this fragrance as far as the notes go. And this is a really beautiful, right out of the shower, clean fragrance. And that's something I really enjoy about this. It's perfectly unisex. I don't feel like it leans too masculine or too feminine. It's right in the middle and absolutely perfect for anyone who wants to blind buy a fragrance from the house. I feel like this is a really clean, sort of fresh, just out of the shower fragrance. But what I love about it though is that the fruity notes in this sort of give the fragrance a banana feel without having a banana note, which is quite interesting. I feel like it smells like a tropical jungle and you are like climbing a banana tree and like smelling the tropical jungle air and the freshness of all the plants around you, and you're climbing up this tree to grab like a banana off of it to eat. That's what this sort of gives me, with like a weird shampoo-y vibe. I'm not really sure where the shampoo-iness is coming from. It might honestly be coming from the jasmine and the salty skin accord, giving it like this very clean, like laundry, salty effect, which is really interesting because certain jasmine notes can smell very clean and like linen. And I definitely get a very clean, sort of linen-y, out the shower feel from this fragrance. And there's not a lot of change from it. It's kind of linear. It dries down to just a very clean scent. It's quite refreshing, and I really do enjoy this one. And I feel like it'd be an easy wear for a lot of people and an easy one to blind buy from the company. The next one that we're going to talk about, which was kind of surprising to me on how unisex and wearable it was, is Civet. I didn't think I would enjoy Civet as much as I do because I'm not the most familiar with Civet notes. I do own some fragrances with Civet notes, but they're not usually very pronounced. They're sort of like a background player, sort of amping up the fragrance. This one, you can get the Civet note right off the bat. And it doesn't have a natural civet note. It has a synthetic civet note for those of you that are interested. It's got bergamot, black pepper, lemon orange spices, tarragon, carnation, frangipani, heliotrope, hyacinth, linden blossom, tuberose, ylang ylang, balsams, civet, coffee, incense, labandum, musk, oak moss resins, Russian leather, vanilla, vetiver, and woods. And like I said, in the opening, I can definitely get the civet note, but it's very light. It's a very florally sweet fragrance with a little bit of spice to it, which I found quite interesting. And it sort of has a bubblegummy feel. And I think the bubblegummy feel from this fragrance is honestly coming from the tuberose in the fragrance. It's a very bubblegummy tuberose. So my fans of bubblegummy tuberose, you might enjoy this fragrance because I actually really enjoyed it. And it was surprising because I didn't expect to like it as much as I do. It's got a very bubblegummy tuberose note to it. It's very much a florally fragrance, but I feel like it encompasses the environment of the civet really well, of it running through the flowers but sort of leaving its trail behind, this sort of civet-y vibe. And as it dries down though, the only thing I will say is the civet note does become more pronounced, especially in the deep dry down. You're sort of left over with this sort of soury, sweet civet vibe, or civet note. So my fans of civet, definitely a good one to check into. People getting into fragrances and want to experience one that is civet derived, I think this is a really good start. Especially my girls out there, don't be scared of trying civet because it is quite beautiful. And honestly, I didn't think it would be as beautiful as it is, but it really is, and I really do enjoy it. The next one that I'm going to talk about was their newest release from this year, and it is Bee. And this is probably one of my favorites from the line, I'm not going to lie. Bee is amazing. It smells so dang good. So this one has orange, ginger syrup, royal jelly accord, broom, heliotrope, mimosa, orange flower, benzoin, labandum, musk, sandalwood, tonka, and vanilla. And my gosh, is this such a winner. If you are into honey fragrances, this is like a honey bomb. This is stunning. It opens up with the most realistic pollen type feel to the fragrance. It's so realistic that when I have sprayed this, the opening makes me sneeze because my body reacts to this is your allergies kicking in and I smell pollen. It's that realistic that my body actually starts sneezing when I spray this fragrance, but it is so beautiful, so true to pollen. It starts drying down immediately into this really honeyed fragrance. And as the honey fragrance starts to progress on the skin, it becomes very incensey and starts going down like a sort of churchy incensey feel without becoming too churchy incensey, if that makes sense, but definitely very incensey. And then this beautiful toffee note sort of pops out on the skin and is super yummy, and it becomes a very incensey, toffee, honeyed fragrance, and I really do love it. This is such a beautiful honey fragrance. My fans of honey, check Bee out. Bee is like top notch. I absolutely love Bee. It is really, really good. Highly suggest checking that one out. It's probably my favorite from the line so far. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is from their Natural Selection Pack. This retails for about $195, but what's great about it is, it's always like whiting out. What's great about this pack is that you can pick the fragrances you want. You can pick 5 from the line and you get them in little travel sprays and sort of sample them that way. So I have 5 of them in here, and I'm going to talk about the first one being Camel. So Camel is a really beautiful fragrance. I'd sprayed it on here earlier to sort of get the dry down. But this one has notes of dates, dried fruits, rose, olibanum. It's got amber, jasmine, myrrh. It's got orange blossom, incense, cedar, cinnamon. It has a beautiful musk note. It has oud, sandalwood, tonka as well, vanilla, vetiver, and it also has a civet note, but the civet note is very toned down, but still very much present in the fragrance. The civet note makes it feel like you are riding a camel in the desert, and you can smell the leather seat on top of the camel. You can smell the dried fruits and the spices that the camel is carrying on the side satchels. It really smells like you are a traveler and carrying all these exotic goods through a desert, riding on top of a camel. It's really a unique scent. I've never smelled anything quite like this. It smells so true to like that whole scenario that it's kind of mind-blowing that like they found a way to like capture the scent in a fragrance. But I really do enjoy it. It is really interesting. I can see a lot of people really enjoying it. That one isn't probably going to be the safest blind buy, but it's definitely really beautiful. But if you want a safe blind buy for women, one that I am going to recommend is Hummingbird by Zoologists. Now this one is stunning. I really do love Hummingbird. I almost put it in my summer video. I don't know why I decided to take it out, but I ended up taking it out and replacing it with something else. But this is perfect for summer. It's refreshing, and it really does encompass the environment and the delicateness of a hummingbird. It's got apple, it's got cherry, citrus notes, lily of the valley, pear, plum, rose, violet leaf, honey and honeysuckle. It's got mimosa, tulip, ylang ylang, whipped cream, amber, moss, musk, sandalwood, and whitewoods. And this is stunning. My fans of honeysuckle, you will really enjoy this. What I love about this fragrance is that somehow they've encompassed making it smell like feathers. And anyone who's ever owned birds or has been around birds or smelt a feather before, you know this sort of like soft, feathery, sort of fuzzy feeling that feathers have. This fragrance has that soft, fuzzy, feathery feeling to it, but it also is very floral at the same time. It's very delicate, like the hummingbird. It's very florally. It smells like a hummingbird's been going around from flower to flower, picking at the nectars and sort of getting that pollen on the flower and the scents from every flower that it visits, and it's flying around. That's what I get from this, and it's absolutely beautiful. It's so unique. I don't own anything quite like it. It's gorgeous. And my fans of honeysuckle, like I said, try this one out. You will be surprised. It's a really interesting take on a honeysuckle heavy fragrance that revolves around the beautiful, delicate hummingbird. Just because it's a delicate fragrance doesn't mean it doesn't last. All of these fragrances last on my skin. I think the only one that doesn't last too long is Chameleon. That one lasts about 6 hours on my skin. This one is the second one that lasts the least. It'll probably last like around 7 hours or so, 6 to 7. And all the others are like 8 plus. So everything else has a crazy longevity. The next one that I'm going to talk about is Moth from Zoologists. This one is another really interesting one. My fans of dark, gothic-y feel fragrances, you will love Moth. This is a really interesting take on like the life cycle of a moth. And it's got a dark noir type feel that's sort of gothic-y at the same time. So my fans of dark, gothic-y fragrances, check this one out. It's really, really stunning. This one has black pepper, cinnamon, cloves, lemon, a nutmeg, saffron, heliotrope as well. It has an iris note that gives it a sort of underlying powdery feel, but it's not overtly powdery. Jasmine, mimosa, lily of the valley, rose, ambergris, honey, resins, oud, musk, cypra oil, patchouli, smoke, and vetiver. And it's really, really beautiful. The smoke adds this sort of darkness to the fragrance. It's very floral heavy with this sort of honeyed background, which is really, really interesting, but they're like very dark, musky, dingy florals. It's very quite weird and dark, but beautiful, like hauntingly beautiful at the same time. And it never really loses the honey feel, but it's a very dark honey that's sort of just aiding in the floralness to the fragrances. It's really unique. It's really beautiful. There is an underlying smokiness all throughout the fragrance as well, but it almost smells like the moth flew into a fire and burned up. It's really quite an interesting fragrance, and I really do enjoy it. I feel like Moth leans very unisex. A man or a woman could easily wear that fragrance. I don't think that it leans too much one way or the other, but it's really, really nice. One that would be a safe blind buy for I think about 98% of men is going to be Panda. This smells like a really green musky cologne. I feel like they did a really good job of encompassing the environment of a panda. It smells like you are in a lush bamboo forest where a panda would be feeding. It's very tropically, it's sort of green. This one has notes of apple, magnolia, mandarin, lily, osmanthus, ozonic notes, which gives it like a sort of herbally aromatic quality, along with a tea note that aids in its aromaticness. Amber, earthy notes, jasmine, orris, patchouli, a civet note in this as well, musk, sandalwood, and vanilla. And it's really quite beautiful. I feel like this one is a very crowd-pleasing men's scent. A lot of people would get good wear out of this one. And it's really, really nice. It's very green, fresh, aromatic, musky as well. So if you're a fan of musky fragrances, definitely check out Panda. it is definitely a safe blind buy, I think, for most men. Now, one that I will say now is not a safe blind buy and is hard for me to even think of wearing or spraying, but I can appreciate the artistic value behind it, is T-Rex. Now, this is a fragrance for the bold. Honey, don't wear this like, ooh, I almost lost the paper. Don't wear this if you're not into making a statement, being bold, not easily deterred by aggressive scents, because this is aggressive. This is like on steroids in so many levels. I've never smelled anything quite like T-Rex before in my life. It smells like a forest fire. It smells like an entire forest is burning. It's really quite intense. It's very heavy. One spray of this and you're done. And this is like on your skin till the next day. I sprayed this in my room and it was an instant regret. As unique and interesting as the scent is, it is not my vibe. It is really heavy. It is very in your face. It's very aggressive. You've got notes of bergamot, black pepper, neroli, bay leaf, fir, nutmeg, champaca, geranium, osmanthus, rose, ylang-ylang, jasmine, resins, cedar civet, olive bandum, leather patchouli, and a sandalwood and musk base. Like, this is intense. It is really, really intense. Smells like burning trees. It smells sort of aromatic-y. It smells like you are in the old world when the dinosaurs like ruled the land and there are volcanoes erupting and lava flowing and trees burning, and man, is this intense. Like, if you are into that kind of scent, then definitely check this out. I could see a firefighter totally like rocking this, but this honestly smells like what a firefighter would smell like when he came home. That's what I get from this. It's really interesting. It's artistic. It's unique. Definitely not for me, but I'm glad I got my nose on it because it's got a cool bottle and it's got a cute little picture. It's just, your girl can't handle that kind of fragrance. Like, I thought this one, Rhinoceros from Zoologists, was intense. No, girl. T-Rex took the cake. Honestly, for the longest time, I thought this was the crazy scent and the bunch, and it is kind of crazy. It can be a little much for a lot of people. This one has bergamot, confier, I'm probably saying that right, confier needles, elemi, lavender, rum, sage, agarwood, cedar, geranium, immortelle, pinewood tobacco, amber leather musk, sandalwood smoke, and vetiver. And for the longest, like I said, I thought this was intense. And this is a cakewalk compared to T-Rex. But this one is a very leather-heavy fragrance. It's really beautiful. To me, it smells like you took a luxury car seat, put it outside, and it rained on it. It smells like sort of wet leather. It really does smell like the leathery feel of a rhinoceros's skin. When you spray it, it's quite intense. The fragrance is really potent. It's very chaotic. I can see a lot of people not liking it right off the bat because of how chaotic it opens up. There's a lot going on. It's very intense. It's very in your face. It's very bold. It's a daring fragrance. But as it dries down, it becomes a bit smoother, a bit more creamier. The leather note tones down a lot more and doesn't smell as wet leathery as it does in the opening. And it starts smoothing out into this really sexy sort of leather, sort of like a leathery, woody fragrance. And it's really quite nice, and I really do enjoy it. It's just a matter of getting through the initial opening that I feel like is going to be hard for a lot of people. A lot of people will smell something off the bat and they immediately give up on it and they're like, no, versus letting something dry down and experiencing the fragrance for what it is. That one leans a lot more masculine. I wouldn't recommend it for a lot of women out there. It's not a safe blind buy for a woman, but for a man who's into bold statement making fragrances, definitely check that one out. I feel like it is a really cool option. The last one that I'm going to talk about is Nightingale from Zoologists. This one is a really beautiful chypre fragrance for men and women. I want to say it's unisex, but I could see a lot more women getting use out of this one. You've got bergamot, lemon, saffron, Japanese plum blossom, red rose, violet, frankincense, labandum, musk, oud, patchouli, sandalwood, white musk, and ambergris. And this is quite beautiful. My fans of powdery fragrances, this is a powder bomb. It's got a beautiful floral nuance to it, and it's quite powdery. It has this underlying sweetness to it as well. And as it dries down, you definitely see more of the chypre aspects to the fragrance because it starts drying down to a much more woody fragrance. So if you're a fan of woody fragrances, you'll definitely love this one. Woody, powdery, a little sweet with a hint of floral, and that's what I get from Zoologists' Nightingale. It's really beautiful. It really does smell like the Orient and walking through a beautiful like Asian garden with the cherry blossom trees everywhere, and just it's absolutely stunning. This is such a vibe. But you have to be comfortable with a powdery fragrance. You have to be comfortable with a slight sweet underlying feel to it, and comfortable with woody chypre type style fragrances as well. And that is all the ones I have. I hope you guys enjoyed this little Zoologist talk through on the ones I have. Hopefully you found something here that would resonate with you, maybe something you want to try out. I would definitely suggest for my girls out there checking out Nightingale, Hummingbird, Bee. For my guys out there, I would definitely recommend Panda. I would recommend Civet for sure, and I would recommend Rhinoceros. T-Rex is a little much for me personally, but I feel like you have to be a special type of person to wear such a bold, in-your-face fragrance, and I think whoever can pull that out and rock it, kudos to you. Your girl can't, but at least I gave it a sniffer. But anyway, till next time, you guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to find me on Instagram, I will link everything down below. So definitely check out the description box. Until next time, you guys, I will catch you later. Bye.